Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Oliver, and Oliver wants to know, do I think Paul will make it far, or will it be a Netta situation? Now Oliver meant like after Paul's temptation 3 weeks of safety wore off, would he be gone immediately? But I just got to his question. Sorry. But anyway, I do think that Paul is going to make it far, because at this point, he's still got everybody freaking worshiping him, except for like Cody and Mark and Jess, who, let's be real, is going home tonight. So I think he's going to be around for a while unless Cody or Mark make something happen. But even if they were to win HOH, I don't think the votes are there to get rid of Paul. It's freaking nuts. So I think maybe the scales will tip eventually and people will just like wake up, or I don't know. If it doesn't happen, the rest of the season is going to be super boring. But anyway, thank you for your question, Oliver. I really appreciate your support. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day like Oliver, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so let's talk about what's going on in the house. Yesterday, Josh and Matt were up in the HOH room. Seriously, Matt and Raven have been like camping out up there all week, and it's ticking Josh off, but we'll get there. So Josh is saying that he's annoyed that Mark is going around claiming that Josh instigated the fight with Jess and Cody. And he's telling Matt that Mark should just stop being friends with him if that's how he feels. Go F yourself. And Matt is saying, yeah, Mark is really blowing it this week. I mean, first he decided to use the veto on himself, and now this. I can't believe that they're still saying that Mark should not have used the veto on himself. It's just blowing my mind. But then Josh was drawing a bath, and Matt was doing these weird-ass, super fast push-ups. First he was like grounding himself and getting all of his energy, and then he was like it was just like really weird. I've never seen anyone do push-ups like that before, but okay. So then Raven comes up to the HOH room, and they're having like this whisper session game chat in the HOH as Josh is in the bathroom taking a bath. It's like so freaking bizarre that they're that close to him and they're having this game discussion without him involved. It was just weird to me. So then Raven's asking him, who do you think we should put up if one of us wins HOH? And Matt's just like, first of all, he's saying it's too early to think about that. So then Matt is saying, well, if Mark and Elena are available after the temptation competition, if neither of them are safe, we should put them up and backdoor Cody. And then Raven's like, or if they're not available, we could use Jason as one of the pawns because he's a really good competitor and there's a good chance that he'll win the power veto, and then they can put up Cody. So then Matt is saying, if Cody wins safety, you could put up Elena and a pawn. And this is where it gets a little bit unclear, because he was like, yeah, we'll tell Elena that Mark is the backdoor target. But then I wasn't sure if they were like saying that he actually was, or if Elena was the target. Because like, what happens if they put up Elena and not Mark, and Mark wins the power veto and uses it on Elena, and Cody's safe? I don't know. So I'm not really sure what exactly their thinking was there. But I'm assuming at this point, if Cody is safe next week, Mark or Elena will be the target. Okay, so then Matt was saying, Raven, if you win HOH, feel free, like I volunteer to be a pawn for you. Oh, please, 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 let this happen, and then let Matt get voted out on Raven's HOH. That would be so freaking funny. Oh, love it. Okay, so then Paul, Matt, and Raven were having a game chat in the Apple Lounge, and it was a similar chat to what I was just talking about. You know, plans for next week and such. So Paul is saying, you know, if we wait until we see who wins HOH and we all talk about this as a group, I think somebody will volunteer to be a pawn. You know, we don't have to pick someone right now. So then Paul is saying he'll do it if they want. He'll be the pawn. Oh, hell no. You know there is no way. He may be offering right now, but there is no way that Paul will actually volunteer to be a pawn ever in this season, ever. It's not happening. You know, he's like saying it right now because everybody's all safe, but when it actually comes down to it, he's gonna be like, guys, I don't think it's a good idea because like there's always a chance that I could get voted out. Okay, so then they're talking about who they feel good about, who they trust in the house right now, and they went ahead and listed all the names, and it was everybody except for Mark, Elena, and Cody. Go Whole House Alliance! Woo! Alright, so then they're saying if Cody wins the temptation competition and is safe for the week, Mark and Elena are going to have to go up against each other. And Paul is saying, yeah, we're going to be drawing a line in the sand, and that's pretty much it. as far as their relationship with Mark and Elena goes, but it's got to be done. And then Paul is saying Mark is going to have to go up on the block no matter what, even if Cody isn't safe, because there is that chance that Mark could try to save Cody, and if he's not on the block, he could use the veto, you know, accordingly so that Cody does not go up. So he's nervous about that, so he's saying Mark is going to have to go up. So they're like, yeah, sounds good. Of course. So then they're talking about pawns again, and Matt says, you know what, for the rest of the season, you guys can use me as a pawn whenever. I don't really care. We made it to jury. I don't care. Go home. I hope if/when Matt is evicted, Julie's just like, oh yeah, we're actually going to send you home. You're not going to jury. Okay. So then a little while later, Josh is in the HOH room watching the spy cam, talking to the cameras, and he's like, yeah, being the HOH this week has really made everything clear for me. I'm seeing things a lot better, who's actually looking out for who. And he says that Christmas and Paul are his ride or dies, even though they're kind of like suspicious of each other and not exactly getting along 100% right now. They are his two ride or dies. And he's saying that he doesn't really like that Kevin, Jason, and Alex have been kind of forming a relationship with Cody this week. He's saying, how does that benefit me? Cody is coming after me, Paul, and Christmas. Is he though? It's hard to say what Cody would actually do if he won HOH, because he's been telling Kevin all week that he wants revenge on the other showmances that turned on him. But at the same time, he also really wants Paul out. But I think he's realizing it would be really tough for him to get the votes to get rid of Paul. That's not looking so good right now. So I'm not 100% sure who Cody would actually go after if he won HOH. So then Josh is saying he's also annoyed that Jason and Alex are forming a relationship with Mark. They're kind of playing both sides right now. And he's wondering, like, why would Mark pick Alex for the veto? Is there something going on there? And he's even going as far as thinking maybe Alex threw the power veto competition to Mark. I don't think so, but he's really paranoid right now. So in any case, he still wants to move forward with Christmas, Paul, Alex, Jason, and Kevin. So that's a group of 6. They feel really solid about that right now. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to keep noting these things that I'm seeing, but I'm going to keep it to myself because I don't want to cause any waves right now. I really like these people that I'm working with, and we're just going to leave it there. So then, Josh is like looking at the spy cam again, and he is freaking pissed that Jason is playing chess with Mark and having a full-blown conversation, not just a little baby one, a full-blown conversation. So he decides he's going to test them. So he leaves the HOH room, walks out to the Sky Bridge where they're playing chess, and he's just like, what's up, guys? And they just like stop talking. And he could see that they were talking on the spy screen. So then he goes back to the HOH room, and he's telling the camera, see, that's exactly what I was talking about. These freaking jerks were having a game chat, and they don't want me involved in it. What's going on there? So Josh says that Mark is a rat-tat-tooey right now, scrambling around trying to get back in with people. And he also says Whistlenut is playing with fire. But he doesn't want to tell anybody about it right now because, again, they already have clear targets. He doesn't want to mess up his group of 6. Okay. So yeah, Jason and Mark were having a game chat by the chess table, pretending to play chess, but it was so obvious that they weren't actually. So this was actually a really interesting game chat. Jason was saying if he wins HOH, he wants to put up Christmas and Matt, and then have Alex or Paul throw the temptation competition to go up as the 3rd nominee so that Cody won't. They want to make sure that he is not playing in this power veto competition so that they can backdoor him. And he's saying, yeah, one of them will win veto. We can backdoor Cody. It's great. Everybody's happy. Are they? I don't think Mark would be. But can you imagine if all that happened, Jason actually did put up like Christmas, Matt, and then Alex or Paul were the 3rd nominee, and Cody won the power veto? Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. I mean, they would just vote out Matt, but it would just be hilarious if it went down that way. So Jason is then like, yeah, I thought maybe I could work with Cody after Jess goes home, but then there was that huge blow up the other day, and that kind of killed all of that. It's just not going to happen now. So then they're talking about the big blow up, and they both agree that Josh was really egging on Cody and Jess, and then Paul and his crew were keeping it alive with Josh, being like, aren't you upset that he said these things about you? Like, it's really messed up, and they just kept it going, and they don't like that. So then Mark is asking Jason, how do you feel about Paul? You know, what's up with that? And Jason's like, well, I really like the guy, but everybody's gonna freaking vote for him in the end if he makes it to the final 2. And Paul always seems to know what's coming, so it's nice to have him around to tell them what's going on, because before this, I don't think Jason had ever seen an episode of Big Brother before. Oh my god, the lawnmower, that makes it feel like we're gonna play the HOH competition with the sound effects, right? Crazy. But anyway, yeah, Jason likes having Paul around. So Mark is like, well, everybody seems to be convinced that there's only one way to play Big Brother because there's only one vet in the house this season, and they're just listening to everything he says and going along with it. So he's not happy about that. He's also pissed that Paul called him out for not sticking up for Josh the other day during the fight. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like the way Paul attacked him in front of everybody. He's not about that. So then Mark is saying, you know, if you think about it, you, Alex, and Kevin, that's pretty good voting block. Like, you guys have a good control over the votes. And Mark is saying, I don't know if everybody actually hates Cody or if it's just one voice. Paul, or maybe 2 voices, Paul and Christmas, saying that they're uncomfortable around him and they don't like living with him, and then everybody's just following suit. So Jason is like, yeah, well, obviously Paul is threatened by Cody because he's one of the only people that doesn't listen to him. True. So Mark is saying, yeah, well, if all of Paul's, Mark is saying if Paul was evicted, all of Paul's followers are just going to be freaking lost once he's gone. And they're going to be really easy to pick off. That would be really entertaining too. Can you imagine the scrambling, the pandemonium if Paul was evicted? It would be wild. So Mark is saying if he wins HOH and Cody wins safety, he can put Paul up on the block, and then they're only going to need 4 votes to evict him. And he's thinking they would have Jason, Alex, Cody, and Elena. And I'm saying, no way. Maybe you could get Jason, maybe you could, I mean, you definitely get Cody, but Alex and Elena, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe Elena, maybe, but Alex, no freaking way. So yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I just don't, he has such a strong hold on these people, it's insane. So also I'm thinking, like, why does Cody have to be safe? Is Mark really gonna be like that and just put up Cody if he's not? I mean, at this point, just freaking don't put him up. Whatever. But anyway, Mark is just really sick of everybody doing what Paul wants. Amen. Okay. So then Josh and Paul were in the Apple Lounge, and Josh is pledging his loyalty. He was telling the HOH cameras, like, this is something that he wants to do. He wants to make sure Paul knows how much he's really on board with him. So he's telling Paul, I'm realizing this week how much you've really had my back in this game, and I want you to know that I have your back. And Paul's like, yeah, obviously, whatever. And then Josh is saying he feels really good about their 6, and Paul says, me too. So Paul advises him, you need to just be cool for now, keep your head down, because Josh is saying that he's like seeing a lot of things now that he's HOH, and he's not happy about some of them. And Paul's saying, it's fine, just relax. Don't treat everybody else like an enemy, or they're gonna start seeing you and treating you like an enemy. That's such great advice for the real world too, right? Okay, so then Josh was up in the HOH room with Alex and Jason, and you know he's freaking fuming about Jason hanging out with Mark so much and what happened earlier at the chess table. So he's asking them, guys, I have a question. What's the deal with Mark? So Alex is like, I don't trust him, but we do need to coddle him as much as possible for now, because we don't want him to send you home if he wins HOH next week. And Josh is like, yeah, I get that. So then Jason is like, why do you ask that? Why are you asking about Mark? Ooh, that looked really sus. Oh, that was not good. So then Josh is like, well, he's extremely disloyal, and if he turned on Cody, he will turn on anybody. So Jason is saying, yeah, you can guarantee that Cody and Mark are still working together. Like, they're always hanging out together. It's pretty obvious. So Alex is saying, that doesn't matter. we need to be as nice as possible to Mark, because there's always that chance that Mark, Cody, Elena, Matt, and Raven could all get back together. That's 5 people. That's a pretty big group. We can't let that happen. So Josh is like, yeah, I get it. I've been doing the same thing with Matt and Raven, trying to make them feel comfortable. But they agree, like, their 6 are all locked in right now. You got, again, Josh, Jason, Alex, Paul, Christmas, and Kevin. They're feeling good about that. But then Josh is talking about Mark again, and he's saying he's so pissed that Mark is telling everybody that he started the fight, and he's saying to Jason and Alex, you can be all buddy-buddy with him, but in this house, he's extremely disloyal, so don't be fooled. Alright. Again, Alex is saying we need to be nice to him, so you need to make him feel comfortable game-wise. If he walks into a room, don't just stop talking. You know, make it seem like you're still talking. You can change the subject, but make it game-related so he's not freaking out. So then they go back to studying the sound effects, and that is that. Okay, so then Paul and Christmas were strategizing in the Apple Lounge. Jason and Kevin were also in there, but they weren't paying attention. They had their own thing going on. So Christmas volunteers as tribute to throw next week's temptation competition for the team, so that Cody can't do that. And Paul's like, that's great, but just know if you do that, you're going to have to throw the veto as well. Because if the veto is used on the temptation competition nominee, there is no replacement. So they can't backdoor Cody if that happens. So he's saying, you just like throw that veto so that somebody else can win, and then we can backdoor Cody. So she's like, that's fine. I probably can't play in the power veto anyway. She's saying that she wants to help out the team however she can right now, and then if the team can kind of like carry her for 2 or 3 more weeks, then she'll be done. And Paul's just like, wait, what? And she's saying, yeah, I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter, but I'm trying to be realistic here. She knows that she's probably not going to be able to compete in a lot of the competitions towards the end of the season, and she is not okay with being carried all the way to the end. Now, I don't know if she's just saying this or if she's, like, seriously feeling that way. I am thinking she's actually feeling that way, and she doesn't want to just be dragged to the end. So, yeah, she just wants to make it, like, a respectable distance into the game, and then she's just like, whatever, vote me out. That's so sad. Okay, so then in other news, Matt lost some sort of bet with Raven last night. She did his makeup, and it was a lot. I'm pretty sure a few of the house guests said, like, wow, he looks like Raven now. Okay, so then the feeds went down for a few hours for the halfway party. Woo! So every year, around halfway through the season, Big Brother gives them this party. They play music for them. They have a cake with everyone's faces on it, and they had pizza. And usually they have alcohol, but this year, no booze. I guess these house guests can't handle it. They're crazy enough without it, so they didn't get it. That sucks. But Elena did get to eat, which is great, because she's the only have-not this week, and she is almost done with 2 weeks in a row of being have-not, because she had the extension ship. So that's nice that she got to eat. Okay, so then, after the party, Josh goes up to his HOH room, and guess who's there? Matt and Raven, of course, woo! So Josh asked them to leave so that he can have a conversation with Christmas. So they're like, okay, fine, whatever. So they leave, and Josh goes over to Kevin, who's showering in the bathroom, and he's just like, I'm sick of them hanging out in the HOH room all the time. It's too much. Like, they've barely talked to me in this whole game, and now I'm HOH and they're up here all the time. It's ridiculous. So then Christmas comes in, he's venting to her about the same thing, and Christmas is like, I told you to lock your door. So she says, yeah, they're super annoying, but you gotta keep that under wraps right now. We've got bigger fish to fry. Don't cause waves with them. So then Kevin is chatting with them for a little bit after his shower. He leaves, and then Josh brings up his concerns about Jason. So, before Josh was saying that he was only going to share this with the feedsters, right, and the cameras, but now he's telling Christmas about it. So he's like, Jason is bonding way too much with Mark. He's worried that Alex threw the veto to Mark, and he brings up the whole Mark and Jason chess game. He's saying they didn't even move one piece for a whole hour. One piece. So, seriously, they need to get better at covering their game talks, because that's super obvious. But he's saying, you know, I think Jason and Alex are loyal to the 6, but they're definitely trying to play both sides right now, and that's not cool. And Christmas is saying again, like, you need to just, like, not repeat that to anybody else. We don't need this right now. And then there was a lot of crap talk about Mark. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, speaking of Mark. He was in the kitchen with Cody, and Cody lets him know, Kevin, Jason, Alex, and Paul are all gunning for you. Ah! So he's asking Mark, are you surprised? And Mark's like, no. Okay. So then Cody also shares that Kevin offered him this deal to have like 5 weeks of safety, and they shook on it, but Cody's like, I'm not buying that. Like, you come to me now. You know, it's so obvious that he's doing that just in case Cody wins the HOH. So he's not feeling that, but he lets Mark know, and Mark's just like, oh, that's interesting. All right, we'll come back to that. So later on in the night, Paul and Alex have a game chat in the HOH room, and Paul is saying that he wants to throw the HOH to somebody else this week because he doesn't want it. He thinks that there's a double eviction coming up. I'm pretty sure it's next week as well. But he wants to win that one. So he's saying, I don't want to win this HOH. So he's like, wouldn't it be great if we could send out Cody and Mark back to back? Which is interesting because they were saying before that the target after Cody was going to be Elena, but now all of a sudden it's flipped back to Mark. But that could change so many times within the next week or so. You never know. But Paul's saying, if we can't get Mark out, Matt isn't a bad option. He's really been pissing a lot of people off lately. They say he's just freaking weird. They're not liking it. They don't like Matt and Raven at all right now. So they're not even going to try to backdoor Matt. If Matt's going, they're just going to pretend he's a pawn one week and then vote him out. It's so sad. So then Paul is also saying they should use Kevin as a pawn at some point. Not to vote him out, but just to put him in check. Don't do that. Okay, so Paul is saying he also kind of wants Alex to throw the HOH this week, if possible. You know, if they're comfortable with who's left. Because he feels like they are like the two strongest competitors pretty much on their side, and they will have the best chance of winning the double eviction HOH. So he's like, you know what, if you got the chance, just hang back and let somebody else take it. The only people he does not want to see win HOH this week are Mark, Elena, and Cody. Alright, so then I just gotta mention this, guys. This house is freaking brothel this season. Holy shit. All three showmances got freaky yesterday / last night. Oh, it's too much. We don't need to see it. I don't remember a season with this many people hooking up. Like, it's wild. So, yeah, I just have to say, like, if they put half as much energy into playing the game, wow, it would be a different season. And I also want to say they're going to have to freaking burn this place down when the season's over. Oh, all of the, like, fluids and stuff, it's too much. Let's move on. So, this morning, Cody and Jess were sharing their last bit of time together. They're being all lovey-dovey. Okay. And then the feeds went down for the HOH lockdown. And when they came back, Elena was panicking a little bit. She is worried that she's going to have some votes against her. She's like, should I pack? Yeah, you should always freaking pack if you're up on the block. But I don't think Raven's packing at all. She is super confident right now. And Mark is reassuring Elena, like, Jess is going, you're going to be fine. But then Elena's like, I don't know. I overheard Jason and Kevin talking about spreading the votes. Like, what the freak was that all about? So Mark is trying to tell her, you're going to be fine. So then Mark is telling her what Cody was saying last night about Kevin, Jason, Alex, and Paul coming after him, and Kevin trying to make that 5-week deal with Cody. And then Elena is spilling info that Jess told her a few days ago about Christmas not liking her, and she's saying Paul is protected on both sides. Ding, ding, ding. That might be a sign. You need to get rid of him soon. Come on. And then Jason comes in while they're talking, and Elena's asking, like, hey, what were you saying about spreading the votes this week? Like, what's going on? And Mark is telling Jason, if there's a messed up vote, it's not me. And Jason's like, yeah, I know. We got to make sure that we don't spread them the wrong way. And then Mark and Elena are both like, wait, what? Who's spreading the votes? Like, what the hell is going on here? And Jason is acting really, really shifty. Like, he just got caught. I mean, they were all silent for like a few seconds after this, and for a second I thought that my feeds were stuck, and I was just like, wait, what, is it buffering, what's going on? But no, he was that freaking shook. So he's saying, what, we're all voting out Jess? And then Elena's asking, like, what were you talking about with the whole spreading the votes thing? And Jason's like, I don't know, like, he's being super sketchy. So Elena's like, I don't know, I think you guys are up to something and it's freaking me out. So Paul comes in, he's like, no, there's no plan to spread the votes. If there is a rogue vote, it's freaking horse shit. Is there gonna be a rogue vote? I wouldn't be surprised after all this drama. But yeah, they're trying to tell Elena like it's gonna be okay, but they're also trying to freak her out. Alright, so then Jessica was pulling people aside to say goodbye. I think she's just going to say goodbye pretty much to Cody on the way out during the show, maybe Elena. But she's saying goodbye to everybody else that she's cool with, like Kevin, Jason, Mark. She's talking to all of them. I think she'll have an interesting exit tonight, though. Okay, so obviously Jess is going tonight. I don't think it's going to be, it's definitely not going to be a unanimous vote because Cody is going to vote for Raven. I don't know if anybody else is going to throw any hinky votes out there. I wouldn't be surprised. But after that, the HOH competition should be a mental one based on the sound effects that they've been hearing the last few days. And I want to know in the comments who you guys are rooting for. I want to see something crazy happen. I want to see either Cody or Mark win HOH. I think that would be super exciting. But let me know what you guys think. And that's where we're at. So until tomorrow, much love.